Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare Bol,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare Bol
Hare Rama 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 Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare Bol
Hare Rama Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare Bol
Hare Rama
Rama
Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Bol Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Bol Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Bol Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Bol Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Bol Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Bol, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Bol. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Dhai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitamtam Sajivam. Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitanscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho. दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिमयत् कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्यमीश्वरम्। कथंचन स्मृति यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विप्रतं स्यात् श्री चैतन्यं नमामि तं। हरे कृष्ण। So first of all, I would like to seek the blessings from all of you. You are watching me or hearing me. So I need the blessing of all of you. So my topic is the glories of the holy name, and in that the subtopic is how the pure devotees relish the holy name. So that is the topic. So it is, I would like to tell one story or pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he was in Jagannath Puri, and he was residing there in Jagannath Puri for 18 years. When the Rath Yatra festival was over, finished, and then the Chaturmasya, the Bengali devotees, Vaishnavas from Bengal, they were there in Jagannath Puri. They stayed there for 4 months, Chaturmasya period. And after that, all the Bengali Vaishnavas, they went back to Bengal to preach the glories of the holy name. And but only Srila Rupa Goswami remained there in Jagannath Puri. He was staying with Namacharya Haridas Thakur at Siddha Bakula. And then he was writing one book, Vidagdha Madhava, the pastimes of Lord Krishna. He was there, and then he was just involved or immersed in writing the pastimes of the Lord. And then both of them, they were just in the ecstasy. Haridas Thakur, he was chanting holy name, and Srila Rupa Goswami, he was writing the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and immediately Lord Chaitanya appeared there. And they both of them, Namacharya Haridas Thakur and Srila Rupa Goswami, they stood up, and they just they fell flat in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to offer the obeisances. And then Mahaprabhu, he just lifted them, he embraced both of them. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that Srila Rupa Goswami, he was writing the book, and he just, out of curiosity, he said, Rup, you're writing the book? And then the pages were not like this, what you are observing here. The pages were of palm leaf. And then he took one palm leaf, and he held that leaf in his hand. And he got surprised. He said, Rup, your handwriting is like a rose of pearls. Very nice handwriting. And then he just, first concentrated on the handwriting, and then he read that verse, telling the glories of the holy name. And he read that, it was very amazing. As soon as he read that, he became ecstatic, he began dancing, the tears were flowing from his eyes. And that verse was written by, of course, Srila Rupa Goswami, and it was, Tunde Tandavini Ratim Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye Karna Kroda Kadamini Ghatayte Karnar Budebhya Spraham Chetaha Prangana Sangini Vijayte Sarvindriyanam Kritim No Jane Janita Kiyadbhir Amritai Krishneti Varnadvai. So that was written by Srila Rupa Goswami, and the glories of holy name was filled in that verse. And Srila Rupa Goswami, he was not mentioning that is his own experience, but it's very obvious that we can understand that was the realization of Srila Rupa Goswami in that particular book, the Vidagdha Madhava. That was actually a dramatic presentation. And then it was, the meaning of that verse is what nectar has filled in the syllable Krishna. Because as soon as I chant Krishna's name, I feel like to have millions of mouths or millions of tongues. Because I'm relishing that holy name, I feel like to have many millions of tongues so that I can relish it more nicely, more intensely. And then as soon as the sound vibration of Hare Krishna enters in my ear holes, I feel like to have Karda Arbudebhya, means many millions of years. I feel to have many millions of years so that I can relish more intensely this holy name, Krishna's name. And then as soon as the sound vibration or the Krishna's name enters in my heart, what happens then? Chetaha prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim. All the activities of all the senses became stunned, became stopped. And then I feel like, I'm not from this world. He was in his ecstasy, and he was relishing in that way. And then Chaitanya Prabhu, when he read that verse, he also became ecstatic. Haridas Thakur and they began dancing in ecstasy. So that's how, they were relishing the holy name. It's not ordinary. Holy name is not ordinary. His holy name is non-different from Krishna. Krishna and his name non-different. So abhinnatvat namanamino. Those who are sadhakas, they chant holy name, but they are unable to relish the holy name because they are not on that stage of relishing the holy name. Because once one realizes that the holy name is non-different from Krishna, then for that person, particularly for that devotee, he is able to relish that holy name very nicely. And then once Srila Prabhupada, he was doing kirtan and many people were there in front of him. That was the auditorium. He was on the stage on the big Vatsasura. He was chanting Hare Krishna. And then after that, Yamuna Mataji was sitting next to him and he asked Yamuna Mataji to continue Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And she began chanting Hare Krishna with her harmonium. And then Srila Prabhupada, in between he was also, repeating Hare Krishna Mahamantra after Yamuna Mataji, and all the audience, they were chanting Hare Krishna. And out of sudden, Srila Prabhupada, he started chanting Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhikaranam Namne. Narad Muni, he was chanting, he was again and again chanting those prayers. And then Yamuna Mataji, she got slow. She was unable to know what to do now. Shall I stop chanting Hare Krishna or what? Then Srila Prabhupada told her, no, you just continue that also. He was showing her. And then after some time, Prabhupada, Prabhupada was in full ecstasy. And then Prabhupada stopped chanting that, Narad Muni Bhajai Vina. And then Yamuna Mataji, she continued. And when Srila Prabhupada chanting that Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhikaram Nami, that time, all the devotees in the audience, they were jumping like anything. And Yamuna Mataji noticed this change, big change. And then some of the devotees, they approached Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, what was that? You were roaring like anything, and we got stunned and we were in ecstasy. What was that? And Srila Prabhupada told that when I chanted this Narad Muni Bhajai Vina, that time I saw Narad Muni in front of me. And then I saw Narad Muni and it was, I was glorifying him, I was welcoming him. And then everyone understood that Srila Prabhupada is such a pure devotee, and the ecstasy he has while chanting Hare Krishna, that attracted even Narad Muni, such a highly elevated saint, Devarshi Narada. So that's how the pure devotees relish the holy name. And also Haridas Thakur, he chanted 300,000 names of the holy name. He was chanting every day. And when he was beaten in 22 marketplaces in of course around that place, because the Nawab Hussain of that place, or Kaji, he didn't like that Haridas Thakur, he was Mohammedan by birth, and then they didn't feel very, very nice that why chanting the holy name of Hindu God? He should, read Kalama of the Quran. Why chanting holy name? And they told that if you will not stop this holy name, then we'll beat you in 22 marketplaces. And then Haridas Thakur told that he was relishing the holy name. He was unable to, leave that. And he told that, Khanda Khanda Hai Jadi Deha Tabuna Chadimu Vadane Harinam. You beat me and you make me into pieces, break me into pieces, but I will not stop chanting this holy name, Hare Krishna. And they were beating and beating. But he was not in the, on the bodily platform. He was, into that holy name. He was relishing the holy name. He was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. He was chanting the holy name. He was relishing. He was just, tasting that. Like we taste, gulab jamun or rasgulla. As soon as we keep that gulab jamun on our tongue, and we feel, like we are in ecstasy. But our ecstasy is different. At least mine ecstasy is, on the bodily platform. But Namacharya Haridas Thakur, his ecstasy was very different. He was relishing that holy name, Hare Krishna. And then in Maharashtra also, as I am sitting in Pandharpur, so in Maharashtra, one big Sant Tukaram, popularly people say Tukaram Maharaj here. And once what happened, in previous age, not previous ages, in maybe 20-30 years ago, in India also, mostly in India, people, they used to go for passing, they used to go outside the village or some place was kept for passing area, that one clearing place. And then once what happened, one person, his name was Mambaji, he was very much envious of Tukaram Maharaj. And once he was walking through that area, and then Tukaram, he heard the holy names, Vitthal, Vitthal, or Krishna, Krishna, someone was chanting. And then this Mambaji, he understood that this person must be Tukaram. So let me see where he is now. And after some time, Tukaram Maharaj, he was chanting Vitthal, Vitthal, Krishna, Krishna, and he was going, he was in ecstasy. He was not seeing even who is in front of him. And then when he was going there in front of him, and then what happened? Mambaji saw him. Mambaji saw Tukaram Maharaj, and he told, what is this Tukaram? You do not know this is not good place? You are chanting the holy name here? Then Tukaram has told that, I am unable to stop this, I am kind of addicted to the holy name, and I cannot stop this. Then Mambaji told, you cannot stop this? Okay, let me hold your tongue. And just he hold the tongue of Tukaram Maharaj. And then what happened? His body became trembling. Tukaram Maharaj's body became trembling, and the holy name of Krishna was coming out from all the parts of his body. And that Mambaji understood that this person is not ordinary person. So Tukaram Maharaj was relishing holy name not only by the tongue, but from all the parts of his body. Like we heard before some time, no? Rupa Goswami. Chetaha prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim. All the activities, the material activities of the body become stopped when one relishes the holy name. And also, this is the incident, very popular incident, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approached his guru for the first time. Of course, not first time. When Ishwarpuri came in Navadip, then also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu served him. But when he approached Ishwarpuri for getting initiation or becoming disciple of Ishwarpuri, and he took mantra from him, and he gave Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He told that you chant Hare Krishna. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began chanting Hare Krishna always. And then he was after some time I will recite that shloka also. Then he was chanting Hare Krishna, and he was dancing, and he was crying, and he thought that I'm becoming mad. What is this? Sometimes we take some medicine, or we take nowadays this vaccine, we take the vaccine, and what happens? Sometimes some side effects or some reaction comes, Then Mahaprabhu thought that this is something like that, or what? Why it's happening to me now? And then he went to his guru. He told to his guru that Gosai, kiba mantra dila Gosai, kiba tarbal, japite mantra karila pagal. Oh my Guru Maharaj, oh my Lord, what kind of this mantra you have given to me? As soon as I began chanting this mantra, I am feeling like, I'm mad, this is very special. Hasai nachai more karai krandan. I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm dancing. Eta shuni Guru hasi balila vachal. When his Guru Maharaj heard this, then he told that Krishna nama maha mantre reita swabhav, jai japetar Krishna upajaye bhav. Oh, you are very fortunate, my dear disciple. Actually, this is the result of chanting Hare Krishna without offense. You are my good disciple, and you chanted the way it has to be chanted. You chanted this offenselessly, and you chanted Hare Krishna attentively. That's why you are getting these results. And then he told that it is the nature of Hare Krishna Mahamantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. He is not different from Krishna. but he was, as a devotee, pure devotee, he was playing the role of a devotee. And when I remember, I think 2 years ago, I met His Grace Janani Prabhu in Mayapur. I asked him how we can develop the test for this holy name. Then he told that he was telling about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that how Mahaprabhu he became sannyasi, he became devotee. Then when he becomes devotee, then he is kind of devotee. He is only devotee. He is not thinking himself as I am supreme personality of Godhead. No, he is chanting holy name. Of course, that name is his name only, but still he is playing the part of devotee. Then he becomes fully devotee, and then he chants the holy name. And then Janani Prabhu told me that when we chant holy name itself reveals. If one is very sincere in chanting the holy name, then the holy name is, as the holy name is non-different from Krishna, the holy name itself reveals to the chanter, to the serious chanter, one who chants attentively, it reveals. And then Janani Prabhu told that when we chant seriously, the holy name reveals, and then what happens? All the good qualities manifest in that chanter, the serious chanter, and then the devotee can chant in ecstasy that holy name. So we can understand how the holy name is non-different from Krishna. Once what happened? One poor person in one country. So he has never seen the gold. And then he was asking everyone how I can see the gold. I read about gold, but I would like to see the gold. And that particularly in that country, the gold was only with the king only. And then the people told, you just approach the king and he will show how the gold is. And he went to the king and he told, Maharaj, I'd like to see the gold. And the king said, okay, no problem. You can just these are the steps. You just climb and then you go upstairs. You can see the gold is there. And he climbed the steps and then he went up and he saw that there are many golden ornaments, jewelries, and also biscuits. The biscuit, not eating biscuit. Those are, the biscuits are golden biscuits. And he saw and then he immediately understood, oh, this is the gold. And the steps I climbed, that was also from the gold, made of the gold. So now I understood that was also gold. And then when he was coming down from those steps, he understood this is also made of gold. Why he could not understand? Because when he went up, then because king told that the gold is there, and then he understood that is gold. But while coming down, he realized that in the beginning I didn't know that this is also gold, but now I know that this is also gold. This is also made of gold. The steps. The same way, in the beginning, for us it's very difficult to realize that the holy name is not different from Krishna. But when one becomes very serious, like we are seeing Tukaram Maharaj's example, Haridas Thakur, and Chaitanya Prabhu himself shown this, and Srila Rupa Goswami's example we saw, how they were relishing, and of course Srila Prabhupada's example, he gave this holy name to the world, and Yadi gaur na hoite tabi ki hoite. Radha Krishnera pranay mein hama jagate janate ke. So Mahaprabhu he came, that's why we understood about the glories of Radha Krishna. And Jadi Prabhupada na hoite tabi ki hoite. His Jai Pataka Maharaj has written this song. Jadi Prabhupada na hoite tabi ki hoito Gaur Nitayera Mahima Jagate Janate ke. Prabhupada came on this planet, and that's why we came to know about Gaur Nitai and the holy name. So we are very fortunate. The holy name is so much powerful that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he told Haridas Thakur and Nityanand Prabhu, you go door to door and just spread the holy name. And they were going to different places. And once what happened? The Jagai Madhai, two brothers, they were Brahmanas, but They were no more Brahmanas. They were committing sinful activities every day. They were opening the scriptures, and then they were saying, oh, this is the sin, and then if you commit this activity, then we'll get this result and this sinful. And they were purposely they were committing those sinful activities by referring the Shastras. And they were so much addicted to these different things, alcohol. And Nityananda approached them that please chant the holy name. And they just neglected, and then they were shouting Jagai Madai, they were shouting on Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, and then they ran away, both of them. They told Chaitanya Prabhu that no, it's very difficult for us. And then Chaitanya Prabhu told that you go to them only and just make them to chant Hare Krishna. Then what will happen? Then all the people, they will understand that these glories of holy name, that this by chanting Hare Krishna, these the drunkard, most sinful persons, they also become good person or the devotees. And they went there, they approached, and then we know the story that they tried to kill even Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu got hurted, and the blood was coming, and Chaitanya Prabhu came there, and he came with Sudarshan. And that time, the Jagai Mother, they became afraid. And Nityananda Prabhu, he forgave them, and then Chaitanya Prabhu embraced both of them. As soon as Chaitanya Prabhu embraced both of them, what happened? As soon as Chaitanya Prabhu embraced both of them, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body, it was golden, and then it turned to very blackish. He became blackish, like he was Gaur. Before he was Sham Sundar, he became Gaur Sundar, and now he became again Sham Sundar, blackish body. Everyone got stunned. What is this happening? And Chaitanya told, just do Kirtan. And they started doing Kirtan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. They began chanting and dancing. And then immediately Chaitanya Prabhu's that blackish body became again golden. And then Chaitanya Prabhu, he declared, listen. Chaitanya Prabhu told that this was, do you know why I became this like black? He told that this, I took the sins of Jagai and Madhai, and now, so I want you to chant Hare Krishna without any offense. If someone commits any offense, particularly Vaishnava Aparadha, then this sin will go to that person who is committing Vaishnava Aparadha. And listen carefully, I will give Krishna Prem to that person or that devotee who chants without offense, and particularly without Vaishnava Aparadha. So that means Chaitanya Prabhu already declared the glories of the holy name, but there is one thing is there. If we will not commit any offense to the holy name, particularly Vaishnava Aparadha, then what will happen? Then we will really relish the holy name as it is relished by the pure devotees. And always whenever they are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they were in full ecstasy, and they were just that the eating and drinking, everything was holy name for them. Even someone is approaching them to eat something, they were thinking that this is kind of time, why we waste time for eating and this thing for bodily things. So because they were relishing the holy name, like when Haridas Thakur, he was in Siddhabakula in Jagannath Puri, the servant of Chaitanya Prabhu approached Haridas Thakur, and he was having a big plate of Jagannath Mahaprasad, and he took that Mahaprasad and he gave to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur told that no, I haven't finished my prescribed rounds, and then he just folded hands to the Mahaprasad, just he took little bit on the tongue, and just he again began chanting. With us, at least with me, what will happen? I will give my japmala to someone, and then I just first finish the Mahaprasad, and then I will say, okay, let me chant now. So this is the case with me and with maybe many of the people. But Haridas Thakur, he was actually relishing the holy name, and then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went there, because Govind told that I think it looks like he is very sick. And then he went there, and Haridas Thakur told that actually I would like to leave now, and I want you to be in front of me. And then Chaitanya Prabhu in the beginning, he was not that much, willing to give the approval, but he told, okay, let's do that. And then Haridas Thakur, he was watching, the lotus face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On the back side, I don't know if you are watching this or not, but on my back, there are lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda and Vishwarup in Pandharpur. These are three lotus feet are installed. And then Chaitanya Prabhu, he was watching Chaitanya Prabhu's lotus feet and lotus face, and he was holding Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, and then he was chanting Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and just he gave up his body. And then Mahaprabhu became ecstatic, and he took his body, Haridas Thakur's body in his hand, and he was dancing and dancing. And you know the story. That means we can understand that the pure devotees, their wealth is the holy name. Because we say this Naam Dhan or Prem Dhan, this is the wealth. Because no one will steal. No one will say that, oh, you had chanted this much amount, this much, then I will steal that. Whatever you got, benefit, or whatever you got the devotion, so I will steal that. No one will say that. They may steal this mobile phone, this and that, so many things, but no one will steal whatever, the punya or acquired by chanting the holy name. Shunyvatam sakata Krishna punya Śravana-kīrtana. By chanting and hearing this holy name, we get punya. Not punya which takes us to Swarga or heaven. Not that kind of punya, but punya of this, for the devotional service, we get this punya by chanting the holy name. And then what we are supposed to do to achieve that, that result of our chanting, or how we feel that, when I will become ecstatic, and then what should be the symptoms of that person. So Chaitanya Prabhu in his Shikshataka says, Nayanam galadashrudharaya vadanam gadgadrudhaya gira pulakair nichitam vapu kada tavanam grahane bhavishyati. This is the bhava stage. He says that when the day will come that I will, as soon as I chant your holy name, what will happen? I become ecstatic. And then this is the symptom. Of course, we should not imitate Haridas Thakur and others. And then in Upadeshamrita also, in Nectar of Instruction, it is mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami, Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya Pittopa Taptarasana Sanarochi Kanu Kintva Darad Anudinam Khalusaiva Jushta Swadvi Kramad Bhavati Tadgad Mula Hantri. The meaning is, the holy name is very sweet. It's kind of sugar, like sugar candy. But due to the jaundice, in the jaundice what happens? Even if someone eats sugar candy or any sweet, for him it's very difficult. He is not tasting that as a sweet. And then Srila Rupa Goswami says, then how to bring back that taste, or how to have the taste for the holy name. He says that Kintu Adarat Anudinam Khalu Saiva Jushta. But if one chants Adarat and Anudinam, two things. He is telling about two things. Adarat means with full respect. And then Anudinam means constantly. One who chants constantly and one who gives full respect or full attention to the holy name, then what happens? The taste. He can taste the taste of holy name. He can taste the taste of holy name. And but we have to undergo so many tests, T-E-S-T, test. So now as a sadhaka, many of the devotees, they are undergoing the different changes in their lives. Sometimes we feel like to chant, and sometimes we don't want to chant, like that. But we have to be hopeful, because in the nectar of devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami says that Asha Bandha means we have to be, not hopeless, but we have to be hopeful that one day will come that I will relish this holy name, and one day the holy name will reveal his real nature, that holy name is not different from Krishna. So these two things, Adarat and Anudinam, is most important thing. And also Srila Prabhupada mentions, we have to chant like the baby cries for a genuine cry, not cry for like it's the baby has to be very small, not that grown up boy or girl, they also cry, but their crying is different. But the genuine cry of a small baby, so that is crying for the mother. So similarly, we have to chant Hare Krishna like we are crying, crying to attain that perfection, or we are calling the names of Krishna. We are, Maya is chasing us always, and we are very, we have to think that we have to, this Maya is always changing, and then, feeling the, afraid, we have to feel that, I'm, why this Maya chasing always, and then what is the way to come out that, to call the names of Krishna. When we approach in some person, we go to someone's house, and then the dog is outside, beware of dogs, on the board is always there, and then the dog immediately comes to us, and then we become afraid. So very simple thing is just call the name of that person, the owner, and then he will tell that dog, "Hey, Tommy, please come. He's my person, he's my friend," and Tommy just goes away. In the same way, Maya is chasing always to us. Then what is the what we are supposed to do? We just call the name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we chant the holy name in a very helpless condition, that only Krishna is 14 naam bina kichu na 14 bhuvan maje. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that only holy name is my shelter. In 14 planets, in the 14 planets, only the holy name is my shelter, and without that I am unable to survive. So that is very highest stage. But we have to know that, or we have to realize, or we have to see, or we have to read or hear about the pure devotees, how they were chanting, how they were relishing, how the ecstatic symptoms they were showing, genuine symptoms, not surgeons. Then we will really, if we appreciate them, and then Krishna will see that, Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. He sees that this person is genuinely, he is seeking to have that realization. He wants to relish my holy name. Then Krishna will bestow that mercy to us. And then we can see that this Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes this, his key is what is that? Aparada shunya ho laho Krishna naam. Nadiya godru me nityananda mahajan patiyache naam hat jivera karan. Nityan Prabhu, there are many shops in market. If we go to market, any market, then we can see many very different. We can get the vegetables, we can get this. There's so many things we get there. And then, but Nityan Prabhu, he opened one market of holy name. It's very rare. No one have heard that this is the market is there, and this is the holy market of the holy name. And then, so then who can take that? Shraddhavana jana hai Shraddhavan. Those who are faithful, they only get this holy name. And then how we are supposed to chant the holy name? Aparada shunya laho Krishna naam. Yes, of course, we are allowed to commit offense. What you are saying, allowed to commit offense? Yes, we are allowed to commit offense. But how many offenses? Aparada shunya. Only shunya means no offense, without offense. So if one chants the holy name without offense, then he can relish the holy name. And then we can see that in the next of instructions, I think it is fifth verse. Krishneti giritam manasadriyeta dikshasi chet panatibhisha bhajantamisham shushrushaya bhajane vigyamananya manya nindadi shunya ridmipsita sangalabdhya. The different stages are mentioned there. Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama, three stages of the devotees, and particularly the third. I'd like to say about the third stage. It is mentioned that one who is who has surrendered to the holy name or to Krishna, full surrendered, and then one who is nindadi shunya, one who is free of offenses, or one who never blasphemes the devotees. Because Krishna never likes that one, the devotee is blaspheming another devotee. So nindadi shunya rid mipsita sangalabdhya, we have to take the association of the devotees, those who are not committing any offenses, or those who are not blaspheming the devotees. We have to take shelter of those devotees. We have to get the association of them. We have to serve them, so that what will happen? The same symptoms will come in us. Like Narad Muni's example, we know that when he was serving the Vaishnavas, Bhakti Vedantas in his village, and then he was hearing the glories of the holy name, hearing the pastime of Krishna, and then what happened? He was getting the association of them, and he ate Maha Prasad of the pure devotees, and he also done some service also to them. And then when they left, after 4 months, they left. Then Narad, he was very small, he was 5 years boy, but he began contemplating on whatever he heard, and the way they shown to chant or to glorify the Lord or to remember the Lord, he began practicing the same thing. And then when he was remembering all those things, whatever he heard from those Bhakti Vedantas, he became ecstatic. The tears were coming from his eyes, and he was chanting in ecstasy. And then the Lord appeared. Krishna appeared in front of him, because when Krishna sees that someone is chanting offenselessly, when someone is chanting intense, with full intention, full attention, then Krishna appears in front of that devotee, and that devotee, he realizes that Krishna is dancing on my tongue, like we saw Srila Rupa Goswami's example. So the pure devotee realizes this. They know that Krishna is non-different from his holy name, and holy name is non-different from Krishna, both things. And then they realize the holy name, and then they chant constantly, like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that what are the qualifications to chant constantly. Is very famous verse. I also say every day, but I am not on that platform. I need your blessings so that I can chant offensively. I can become ecstatic. I would like to become, but now I am not like that. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadaharihi. He says that Trinadapi sunichena, like I am sitting here on the grass. So grass, I am sitting on the grass, we are walking on the grass, but grass is never saying that, oh, why you are walking on me, because Trinadapi sunichena. Sunich means we have to think like I am very insignificant, and then tarorapi sahishnuna, we have to become more tolerant than the tree. Why more tolerant? Why tolerance is with the tree? Why we say about the tree? Because tree, we cut the tree and we use the tree in so many ways, but tree never says that why you are doing this to me. I am standing in the in the sun, in the this and that, in rainy season, but why you are doing this with me? He never says like that. And then we can understand that these two things and other two things, amanina manadena, we have to never expect any respect from anyone, even though he is not respecting me or he is insulting me, but still we have to give respect to that person. Of course, it's very difficult. To say is very easy. And then last is amanina manadena. Not expecting any respect, but giving respect to everyone always. And then in this, situation of the mind, one can chant the holy name always, constantly. So the constant chanting makes, when one can chant constant chanting, so Srila, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives this instruction to us. We have to pray. Once I remember one senior devotee was telling that this Trinadapi Sunichan, we chant only once during Shikshatakam prayers. Sometimes some devotees are busy, for them it's very difficult, because they have different services. So he was telling that the senior devotee told that during the day we have to chant this Trinadapi Sunichan many times, so that whenever certain some circumstance come and someone try to insult us, this and that, then if we remember that Trinadapi Sunichan verse, then we become pacified. We remember that no, I have to become very humble. I have to consider myself insignificant. I have to become tolerant. I have to give the respect without expecting any respect from anyone. So these are the symptoms. So this is very much necessary. And then if we chant in the association of the devotees, then once I asked to one senior devotee that why we should chant in the association of the devotee. He told that if we consider ourselves very insignificant and then if we chant in the association of the devotees, what will happen? We do not know, the devotees, Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigena Bujay. We do not know how they are advanced or this and that. We do not know from external, appearance. And then if someone is very advanced and we are sitting in the association of devotees, his purity will get, that purity, or we get the test for the holy name. If someone is having, chest, if we sit in the association of the devotees, those who are chanting very seriously, offensively, then we get those qualities. And we can also become, offenseless, and we can also release the holy name. So it is very important thing. So I think the time is up now, and I just, ask everyone who are watching that I need the blessing of all of you so that I can chant offensively and I can relish the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Today we have been asked to do a little bhajan for Kirtan Ministry Facebook page by Govind Charan Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for engaging us to do this service on this auspicious occasion of EKÀDAŞީ. Bhaktivinoda Prabhu will read the translation of the bhajans that I will be singing. The first bhajan is O He Vaishnava Thakura.
Thank you, Govinda Charan Prabhu, for inviting us on this auspicious day of APARA EKÀDAŞީ. On behalf of Kirtan Ministry, we are very privileged and grateful for inviting us. So I will read the translation of the first bhajan. We will be leading 3 bhajans. Start with Vahe Vaishnava Thakura, then we'll do Jeev Jago Gora Chandra Bole, and then we'll do Bhajan Ring. So we'll request everybody to participate and sing along. Okay, Hare Krishna. So the translation of Vahe Vaishnava Thakura song. O Venerable Vaishnava, O Ocean of Mercy, be merciful unto your servant. Give me the shade of your lotus feet and purify me. I hold onto your lotus feet. Teach me to control my 6 passions, rectify my 6 faults, bestow upon me the 6 qualities, and offer unto me the 6 kinds of holy association. I do not find the strength to carry on alone the Sankirtan of the holy name of Hari. Please bless me by giving me just 1 drop of faith with which to obtain the greatest pleasure or great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to to me. I am simply your servant, running behind you shouting, Krishna, Krishna.
তোমার
will be Jeev Jago, Gora Chado Bole. So we will read the translation. This is the song by Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And this song, we can relate to it very nicely, especially at this time of COVID-19. We can see the whole world is going through so much pain and are still sleeping in this lap of Maya, still not appreciating or turning towards Krishna. And everybody is suffering immensely. So many devotees and the public around the world are facing this problem of COVID, and this song can really apply to our lives at this point of time, and we can really relate to this song. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is requesting everybody to wake up and take shelter of Krishna, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Lord Gauranga is calling, wake up, sleeping souls, wake up, sleeping souls. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the world of birth and death. I have descended just to save you. Other than myself, you have no friend in this world. I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you are suffering. Take this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I fall at the Lord's feet having taken this Mahamantra. So let us sing the song. last bhajan, Bhaja Hure Mana by Govinda Das, and then we will end with little Mahamantra. So this song is written by Govinda Das. O mind, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which make one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly persons. Both in the day and at night I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For a fraction of flickering happiness I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men. What assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, son and family members? This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari. This is the desire and great longing of Govinda Das to engage himself in the 9 processes of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of Lord Hari and chanting those glories, constantly remembering him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense and so forth, serving him as a friend and completely offering the Lord one's very self. So we will sing Bhaja Hure Mana and end with Mahamantra.
Bhaja Hure Mana Shri Nanda Abhaya Charanara Vindare Bhaja Hure Mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Durlabha Manava Janama Sat Sange Durlabha Manava Janama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Thank you everybody for joining us. Hope you have a great Ekadashi today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Kirtan Ministry, and especially Govinda Charan Prabhu for having us. Hare Krishna, and all the devotees who are watching live. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
This is Padma Purana. Nama Chintamani Krishna. Purna Chuduriti Mukta. Vinata Nama. The holy name is like a touchstone. You know what's a touchstone? What is it? Wherever you touch, it turns into gold. So the holy name is like Chintamani, touchstone. It is complete in all respects. In other words, to progress spiritually, all you need is the holy name. And the holy name is capable of delivering the love of God. But the holy name is like a touchstone and is complete in all respects. And it is pure, you know. It is completely pure. The holy name doesn't get contaminated. Doesn't matter where you chant. Gorkishala Bhavati, a great Acharya. He was very renounced. His only attraction was to the holy name. And he was so attached to the holy name that he did not even like anybody coming and interfering or bothering him. And in order to, where he was such a renunciate, a lot of people would come to see him. So he made his bhajan fikir where? In a toilet. In a toilet, where nobody liked to come, especially in the Indian public toilet. Where it smells so badly. I mean, the people are holding nice bhajan fikir. He said, no, I'm happy. Because he could chant the holy name without interruption. So chanting the holy name is the most important business. Prabhupada, when he started the movement, he just gave us the holy name. Even though he had 200 sets of Bhagavatam with him, they took from there. The chanting preaching, started by that holy name. And the holy name gradually transformed the lives of individuals. For example, the Prabhupada opened the first temple. He told people, just chant. He did not give the four regular principles. He did not tell the minimum chanting. He just chant. But the devotee had chanting for a period. So one day, they went to Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, don't you want us to follow some rules? And then Prabhupada said, this is the day I was waiting for. When you would come and ask me, are there any rules to follow? And then Prabhupada gave the rules. So this came by the effect of chanting. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu popularized the chanting of the holy name. He converted people from all walks of life to the holy name. As a child, they would stop crying only when the neighboring ladies would clap and chant the holy name. Then he would stop crying. And he popularized the chanting for very young age. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considered the most worshipful of all incarnations, who appeared by to popularize the chanting of the holy name. So this holy name is coming from where? It is coming from the spiritual world. This holy name can be chanted again and again, because it is coming from the spiritual world. And there are no hard and fast rules for chanting the holy name. In the first canto, the Bhagavatam said, Śravana-kīrtana Krishna, Śravana-kīrtana. At the end of the sloka, the holy name of the Lord. When you chant the holy name of the Lord, what will happen? What will happen? The heart will get purified. At the end of the sloka, by chanting the Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami says, by chanting the holy name, the heart will get cleansed. And then be able to experience it. So we all need to cleanse the heart. If there's anyone who thinks that my heart is clean, I don't need to cleanse it, he will improve it. And the holy name is a special medicine brought from the spiritual world to chant the holy name. What does the holy name do? It does many things. In the opening verses of the Shikshastra, Lord Chaitanya says, Chaitanya, it cleanses the heart. Our heart, as Prabhupada used to say, is more black than a coal. You know how black the coal is? The heart is more black than a coal. So, how do we treat someone's heart that is full of unlimited desire? That, like the coal means, has unlimited desire that has to be cleansed. That comes to the chanting. We've all experienced. We chant your rounds nicely and regularly, then the spiritual is high. Is that correct? And we don't chant your rounds properly. When it becomes lax, then when the other desires be able to get it properly. So the holy name is coming from the spiritual world. And how does the Lord incarnate him? The Lord incarnates in various ways. He incarnated as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in Kali Yuga, Kali Namarupa, in Kali Yuga, we have started the holy name of the Lord. That's why you can chant the holy name day and night, and you will not get tired. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as it is said, he appeared to popularize the chanting of the holy name. Narottam Thakur said, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Prabhu, Tuma Pena Keti Alu Chakra Samsara. You are the most merciful of all incarnations. Why is the Lord most merciful to all of the nations? Because He gave her, what did He give her? In the Śravana-kīrtana, text 52, of the same chapter it says, Krishna Vishnu, Krishna So the holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord. In the age of Kali, just like for different diseases, we have different cures, isn't it? You don't go to the drugstore, close your eyes, and look at it. Specific disease, specific disease. So similarly, in Bhagavatam, text 52 of this chapter, we read here, that in Satya Yuga, the process of chanting, the process of realizing the Lord, meditation. And in Satya Yuga, people could live for 100,000 years. And they used to meditate. For how long? To 80,000 years. They could meditate. Now somebody says, okay, you meditate for 80,000 years. This is how it is possible. A lifespan is maximum 70, 80 years. That's not possible. Then, the yoga is so much. Then came Seta Yuga. And Seta Yuga, the lifespan got reduced 10 times. In Satya Yuga, the lifespan was approximately 100 years. And in Seta Yuga, the lifespan got reduced 10 times. And what was the process of self-realization? Yagyas. Very elaborate yagyas, in which you needed pure Brahmins. These Brahmins were so powerful that they would ignite fire just by chanting mantras. They didn't need any matchboxes. So that also is not possible today. For example, when they had these huge yagyas, initially they had qualified Brahmanas who could meditate, chant mantras and produce fire. And in the yagya, people would be offered, people would offer pure ingredients, like pure butter, etc. That's not possible in this age, is it? No. Then came, what came next? Where life will get reduced, whole and 10 times. And in that age, what was the recommended process? Worshipping the Lord. And then came EKÀDAŠީ. And then came Kali Yuga, where the life will get reduced, whole and 10 times. To maximum 1,000 times. And that process is elaborate gifts to the Lord. And in Kali Yuga, the lifespan gets reduced further 10 times. And what is the recommended process? Chanting the holy name of the Lord. So chanting the holy name of the Lord is recommended again and again. In the Bhagavatam, the last father was very angry because his son was attached to the holy name. They knew that he was preached to by the Lord, by the Brahman. So, Sanatana Marka, the two teachers of Quran, were specially instructed to brainwash a child so that his attachment to the Lord goes on. And when the father made the son sit on his lap and asked, so, amongst various subjects that you learn, what is the best subject you learn? Śravana-kīrtana Paraseva Achamananda. So this is described as the ninefold process of devotion service. The 9 principal avenues through which you can serve the Lord. And the most important is Shravanam is listed before everything. Shravanam is the foundation for your spiritual life. Śravana-kīrtana Paraseva. If you take the process of chanting and hearing, then it will enable you to achieve success to the other paths. For example, you do not say, Vishnu Smarnam Shravanam. You can't say, for that meditate and then chant. It doesn't work that way. If you want to make spiritual progress, the 4 items to be executed what? Yes, Shravanam and Kirtan. Hearing and chanting. So hearing and chanting is very important. Why is that? In almost every purpose that Prabhupada has, Shravanam is highlighted. I think if you count how many purposes have mention of Shravanam and Kirtana, I think it will almost be 99%. 99% of the purpose stress the importance of chanting the Holy Name, isn't it? And why? Because this is the foundation of a spiritual life. The foundation of just like if you're constructing a building. If the foundation is strong, then the building will be strong. And if the foundation is weak, then the building will be weak. Similarly, just like we educate children, if the children are taught from a young age to chant and have good habits, then they grow up with proper habits. So the foundation for spiritual life is Śravana-kīrtana. And if we engage in the Śravana-kīrtana, then there will be cleansing of the heart. Why is cleansing of the heart so important? Because unless the heart is clean, you can't progress spiritually. When it's clear sky, you see everything clearly. So we need to, first of all, we need to recognize my heart is dirty. My heart is contaminated. I have to cleanse it. And then if you realize, then you go to the next step and apply what you do. Now, unfortunately, we're not attracted to the Holy Name. Are we? We're not attracted to the Holy Name. We're attracted to everything but the Holy Name. Alright? We're attracted to everything but the Holy Name. The Holy Name is on the bottom of our wish list. But if you have the fortune to associate with advanced devotees, then what will you get? Then you get guidance about the importance of the Holy Name. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he summarized the vast teaching. It's not able to apply in the 5 minute points. The first one is Sadhu. The next one is Namakirtan. If you get the right association, then you will get the right guidance. So we should recognize that if we don't chant our rounds properly, if we don't chant regularly, then Maya will sweep us away. There are no shortcuts. We should recognize this chanting is our most important business. And this should be given top priority. Rupa Goswami gave us many wonderful books. Regarding the Holy Name, Rupa Goswami My dear Lord, your holy name is so sweet that to glorify you, I need thousands of times together. People always say, one tongue is not enough for me. He says, give me only thousands of tongues. I need to be able to glorify you. So, what it means is, the holy name is so sweet. To relish the sweetness of the holy name, we need to chant all of it. Now, in our position, we can't even take care of one tongue. Isn't it? We're going to keep one tongue busy for 2 years is a challenge. Rupa Goswami said, one tongue, 2 tongues, 3 tongues, 4 tongues are not enough. I need thousands and thousands of tongues. Of course, we haven't reached that stage, but hopefully, we keep endeavoring, we can reach that stage. The holy name can purify even the greatest of good. And the classic example we have is the example of Jai Vijay. Jai Vijay were born in a Brahminical family. They fell in bad association, developed bad habits, and became grossly sinful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started a Sankirtan movement and his close associates, Nityananda and Haida, they knew his real identity. His real identity was what? That he was the incarnation of God. They thought, if we can rectify him, then now that anyone would be very proud. Oh, he's so powerful. He made the guy in line. So he approached Haridas and approached him. And the first day they approached him, they were chased very badly. They had to run for their lives. Because Jai Vijay was so intoxicated, he was so notorious, they didn't want anyone to spread the name of the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya, in the evening when Nityananda and Haida went home, Lord Chaitanya says, "What's your preaching in court today?" And I put her in the class. Prabhupada will also do that. Prabhupada will ask the devotee. So, how many life members did you make today? Those days it was all life members. So how many books did you also listen to? And we have the same tradition. We read out the scores every morning to the TV and Prabhupada. So they're still getting the scores what the devotees are performing. The Lord Chaitanya said, so, how was the preaching today? And we encountered 2 drunkards. They are considered notorious. Everybody's scared of them. We tried to give them the holy name, and they were ready to kill us. We can't go anywhere near them. And they were attacking us. The people said, "Acha, nice." We told these sadhus not to go near them. Then they went near them, and they almost lost their life. So some said, "Acha, very nice." So Lord Chaitanya said, "Now you go back." And they went back. And then they transformed the guy in life. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course he was God. He was passing through the Jharkhand forest. And when he was passing through the Jharkhand forest, he made the tigers, elephants, lions chant the holy name of the Lord. Of course, we are not going to tell you to go to the nearest forest. We won't put all of it on the big test. But because we know that we are not that level. But when Prabhupada went abroad, he transformed individuals who were like Jagamila. They were like animals, and with the power of the Holy Name of God. So we see, even in our day-to-day life, that those who take the Holy Name, follow the spiritual standards, they get transformed, isn't it? They look completely different. Sometimes you will be meeting your relatives or friends who will say, "Oh, you look completely different." Yes, that is a part of it. So Holy Name cleanses the heart. We chant the Shastra every morning. Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa and Sanatana when they were going to Vrindavan to write books for the sands of devotional service and to identify places of worship, great places where the Lord had performed in past time, and identify and build temples. So Rupa and Sanatana did that, and they wrote volumes of books. And Rupa Goswami in his book called Shri Upesha Vidya says, the holy name of the Lord is sweet like sugar candy. You like sugar candy? Like sweets? Anyone like sweets? That's why people have cavities. The more sweets you eat, the more cavities you develop, the richer the dentist becomes. So, Rupa Goswami says, the holy name of the Lord is sweet like sugar candy. The qualities of the Lord are also sweet like sugar candy. The passion of the Lord is also sweet like sugar candy. But unfortunately, I am suffering from a disease called avidya. Avidya means ignorance. I'm suffering from a disease called avidya. Prabhupada used to often give one example. He would say, just like if you have cataract in your eye, then you can't see clearly, isn't it? But if your eyes, if your cataract is removed, then you can see clearly. So similarly, our heart is contaminated. So we can't taste the sweetness or anything. So what's the solution? But Rupa Goswami says, when we chant the holy name of the Lord attentively, then the disease will get cured. And cured means that the material attraction will come down. And then you'll be able to taste what? The sweetness of the holy name. The holy name is sweet, but we have to struggle with that, isn't it? Just like even in Bhagavatam class, I see some of you are sleeping. And in Bhagavatam prayer, it's very common that some people are sleeping. That's because you don't have that taste for it. You never fall asleep in front of your prasadam plate. I heard in history only everybody once where I slept in New York in front of the prasadam plate. But normally, you don't sleep in front of your wife because you are attracted to it. So Krishna consciousness provides a forum where if we endeavor, we can get a taste for the Holy Name. So we come to the Krishna consciousness movement to develop a taste for the Holy Name. And how do you develop a taste for the Holy Name? By following the rules of the Krishna. By following the rules of the Krishna, you get this, that has a formula. So chanting the Holy Name, we read so many examples. Kailash Thakur, one. When Lord Chaitanya started his Sampurna movement, how the Muslims protested. They said, if you don't stop this Nimai from doing the Harinam, all the Muslims will come into this. So you must stop it. And believe it or not, even the Hindu Brahmins protested. They said, oh, now there is dharma, you never heard about it. Because their income was being lost. These Brahmanas would do yajnas to make money, and with Lord Chaitanya's movement, you don't need any money. You just need to chant the holy name. So these pandits were losing their income. That's why they were against Lord Chaitanya's movement. So they were all protesting. And Lord Qadi was meditating, now I must act. And there was one Muslim administrator who was also protesting to the Qadi. Please stop, Nimai Sabkat, otherwise the Hindu law become Hindu. So the Qadi said, I see that you come and complain in my office every day. Stop, Nimai. But whenever I see you chanting the holy name. What is this tamasha? You complain and then you chant all the time. So the Mola said, yes, this is a fact. Since I heard the holy name, I can't drop it. I can't stop taking the holy name. I've got so attached to it. So if you chant the holy name, you'll get attached to the holy name. You have to make an effort. Nothing comes without effort. Just like you want to score well in academic studies, you have to study, then you get it. Of course, these days, right now, because of the virus, you can pass it another exam. But generally, you have to pass. You need exam, right? But these days, people are losing interest. A survey done in Delhi recently showed 75% of the students of Delhi University don't want to take exam. So, but generally, assuming things are normal, we have to make an effort. If you want to get good grades, you have to study. So similarly, for chanting the holy name also, we have to make an endeavor. And that endeavor will also give you an anandabhuti, will give you an unexpected. So we need to remind ourselves about the importance of the holy name. We need to read about the importance of the holy name. Just thinking, oh, I know what the holy name does. I don't need to listen again. Sometimes when you don't go to a class, and somebody tells you go to a class, why know everything that he's going to speak? Krishna is supreme, Maya is bad, what can you do right there? So how do you know all that? They're going to give nothing to you. These ISKCON people, they have nothing new in their philosophy. Yes, that's a fact. We have nothing new. But we are so conditioned, even to pass the preliminary exam, we have to struggle. So, this chanting the holy name is Lord Chaitanya's gift to humanity. Vatsasura Thakur re-established the pure teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vatsasura Thakur wrote nearly 100 books in English, Oriya, Bengali, in which he presented the pure path of the Holy Spirit. Then his famous Jeev Jago prayer, what did he say? Ye Sagovani Sarasala Rinpoche. Doesn't matter which ashram you belong to. You may belong to the Brahmachari, Vanaprastha. Please chant the holy name. So this holy name, which is descending from the spiritual world, is meant for the entire humanity. We can't say it's only for people of one country, one community, one civilization. This holy name is not Chaitanya's gift, the whole platform. And what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predict? कितनी बजे याद चला था? 500 years ago, he predicted that this holy name will be chanted in every turn of the little. Our acharyas had this great desire. They knew that the Lord is predicting. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the great acharya who sent his books to universities around the world. And then Bhakti Siddhanta Ji sent some disciples, and he sent some of the sannyasi disciples with the holy name. But they were not so successful. So they thought that, oh, it is predicted, but it looks like Kali Yuga is too strong. Bhakti Siddhanta Ji knew, beyond doubt, 100% this prediction will come true. So, even though the initial efforts were unsuccessful, he inspired his disciples. That's what he inspired Prabhupada. When he met Prabhupada in 1922 in Calcutta, in the very first meeting, you could see, this is a young man who can take Vatsasura teachings to the rest of the world. So this chanting of the holy name, which is what our movement is based on. Prabhupada, if you read the old back-to-bottom magazines, everything, what is written on the cover? Magazine of the Hare Krishna movement. It's not written magazine of Bhaktivedanta Swami. It is a magazine of the Hare Krishna movement. Because Prabhupada established the importance of the holy name. Prabhupada established the need to chant the holy name. That's why he called it magazine of the Hare Krishna movement. So this is the Hare Krishna movement. Why? Because it is based on the holy name. It is based on the importance of Hare Krishna. So we have to get attached to the holy name. And we should all recognize, I am not attached. You do obedience. Now, a question may arise. If you chant the holy name, what do you get in exchange? You get something in exchange? Sometimes people ask, do I go to the temple every day? You get some commission? I ask you. Which is not like this. So what do you get in exchange for chanting the holy name? What do you get? Huh? But you get happiness. Another only one happiness. You get real happiness. Nakli happiness is what you get through liquor and so on. Now, the government has become so merciful. If you want liquor, just phone them and deliver to your house. But it was more difficult. But one time I had a permit. We didn't have a permit, they would not sell liquor to you. But then they wanted people to get killed for drinking liquor. So they removed that clause. Now, after the recent experience with the poet, they become even more merciful. They're saying they saw that the liquor sales went up so fast, they saw they could make more money. They said, we'll deliver it, you'll get your home. You don't have to stand in line. So, this is the modern concept of how we make money. Sell liquor. Well, our concept is the spiritual concept. And that is another holy word. By chanting the holy names of the Lord, you will realize unending spiritual pleasure. Unending. Unending means never end. Very properly to give the example of material life. The more you have of something, the less you want. Then if you study economics in school, all the time, okay. So in economics you must have learned. The more you have, the less you want. Just like if you're eating chapati. First chapati will give you some pleasure. Second give you that. Third will give you that. Fourth is like no more. But, isn't it? But that's the material law. The more you have, the less you desire. But in spiritual life, it doesn't work like that. And I'm the Buddha. The more you have, the more you want. The more you chant the holy name, the more you'll feel like chanting the holy name. The more you read the books, the more you'll feel like reading the book. The more you serve, the more you'll feel like serve. Why? Because that is the nature of spiritual life. The more you have, the more you want. So this chanting is that. The more you chant, the more you will be like that. So we should recognize my most important business is to get attached to the holy name. And we have seen all over the world all over the world, people get attached to it. There are some in America, there's 2 lakh more around. And that is what it is. So there's hope. The reason I gave this example, it's not a holy name. You only work with Indians. The holy name will work with anyone who takes the responsibility. This is universal market. Not that it just was one and one. Prabhupada established and took this Vedic message to virtually every corner of the globe. We have Africans chanting Hare Krishna. West Indians, others chanting Hare Krishna. So the purpose in having this discussion on the glory of the holy name, we should remind ourselves of the importance of the holy name. We forget the importance of the holy name, right? We forget when we get captured by the illusion. So what we need to do is constantly remind ourselves of the sharing of the holy name. And in the case of APARA, we saw the holy name protected him from Maya's death. So the holy name is our high principle. And our desire should be to chant the holy name to the end of our life. And in the association, it's not done. Wonderful. Huh? They haven't cut so far. Have you got? Okay. So the important thing is that you get attached to it. So Shri devotee is a great help. We've all experienced everybody is associated with it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on a tour of southern India. He just transformed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, a staunch empress, to the path of Buddhism. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was so impressed. He really believed Lord Chaitanya is God. Lord Chaitanya had been there 600 forms to him. Lord Chaitanya was leaving Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. This was South India. So he said, when you go to South India, on the banks of the Godavari, you will see a corner. You don't think he's a mundane person. He's a very advanced person, more advanced than me. No, so you must, Ramana Roy, I think last Sunday, we celebrated this great king being carried on a palanquin. He wasn't like a king, like a king. In the olden days, the royalty used to be carried in a palanquin, not in a car. The Ramdana Roy and Ramdana Chidambabu were talking. When the Lord asked any question, they don't have time to look. One question he asked, what should a living entity constantly chant? Why should he chant? And Ramdana Roy replied, the living entity should chant the holy name of the Lord. And the holy name of the Lord will describe the quality of the Lord. So by chanting the holy name of the Lord, it makes Krishna known. So all the scriptures point out the importance of chanting the holy name of the Lord. Unfortunately, we get contaminated just because you know the importance of the holy name. Does not mean that Maya can't attack you. Even great sages who always cautious against Maya. And I stopped for to chanting the holy name as a defense against Maya. Prabhupada was beating the deity. Now they're beating the deity. So, devotee asked, Prabhupada, what were you talking? We saw you were praying to him. Prabhupada said, I was praying to Krishna that I will not fall in Maya. So the point is, our praying to Krishna should be done in a practical way. Not that I just pray, Krishna please protect me, I don't chant. It should be done in practical. You take, so every time we hear of the glories of the holy name, every time we read of the glories of the holy name, we get reminded what? We get reminded that this chanting is emotional. So all of us, we should recognize the importance of chanting. This chanting can be done in 3 different stages. The offensive stage, the stage of minimizing offenses, and what? Sudasara. The chanting is beneficial in all cases. I wonder when you were in Gujarat, you would chant every day, you will also drink every day. So this chanting of the holy name is beneficial in every situation. In the initial stage, we chant, but we don't follow any rules and regulations. We're not aware of these rules and regulations. We just chant. But then as we progress and associate with devotee, as you read and dissociate, what do you understand? Do you understand? Yes, there are the rules that I have to avoid. I have to follow. And then take advantage of sadhusanga, you do that. And then you will keep making effort. Then when you get to the what state? Should have sort of purified state. The goal should be to get to the purified state. But if that is possible, you make the effort. So I'm really glad that they have this program. And EKÀDAŞީ run by Krishna. I'm sure every time you hear, you'll be more attracted to the Buddha. The more you hear, the more attracted you get to the holy name. The less you hear, the less attracted you get. The more you read, the more attracted you get to the holy name. So please chant attentively. Remind yourself always what is important with the holy name. And recognize the holy name I will execute without any compromise. If you don't compromise with the holy name, be firm in your dedication to do your round, etc. And if you see you do that, then you make sure to do wrong. Then spiritual life will become easy. Often we meet devotees say, oh, I'm having this trouble, that trouble, that trouble. The good news is everybody's having trouble. You're not the only one. That's a good news. Doesn't Krishna say, everybody's struggling with mindfulness. So You are not the only one struggling with Maya. Everyone is struggling. So therefore, Krishna gave a universal instruction. He knows this instruction to work in India, to work in Russia, to work in Pakistan, and that's the sharing of the Holy. Krishna says, that following the veterinary principle of Bhakti Yoga, with will and desire to be. So this chanting the holy name, this formula is universal. You can chant it wherever you want. Please make this your top priority, getting attached to the holy name. And then greater the effort, greater the result. Papa said, you take one step towards Krishna, he will take how many? 10 steps towards you. Now we don't really take one veranda, we take one step. We endeavor, we chant sincerely, we tiny effort, we get rewarded 10 times. So with everything, and definitely, we chanting with the heart. So thank you very much. I believe that the cut-off time was 9. So, okay, praise be the meeting. We will meet the Lord Peter. Thank you. We need to make the award.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama.
Okay, I guess we're starting again. We had a Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Let us offer our respectful obeisances to His Holiness Lokanath Swami. Millions and millions of devotees all over the world to chant the holy names of Krishna in every town and village. And let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees and full of compassion for all the conditioned souls. I have so much gratitude for all the devotees in the ISKCON ministry, such as Govindacharan Prabhu and so many others who are pushing on this ministry to propagate Kirtan. This is the best counter, the best medicine for Kali Yuga, is to chant the holy names of the Lord and to follow in the footsteps of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada in the best way that we can. So today, boys and girls, Maharajas and great Vaishnavas, devotees of the Lord, today we're going to hear about the glories of APARA EKÂDAŞÍ, narrated by Lord Krishna to Yudhisthira Maharaj. Sri Yudhisthira Maharaj said, O Janardhan, what is the name of the Ekadashi that occurs during the dark fortnight, Krishna Paksha, of the month of Jyeshtha, May and June? I wish to hear from you the glories of this sacred day of Hari. Please narrate everything to me. Lord Sri Krishna said, O King, your inquiry is wonderful because the answer will benefit the entire human society. This Ekadashi is so sublime and meritorious that even the greatest sins can be erased by its purity. O great saintly King, the name of this unlimitedly meritorious Ekadashi is APARA EKÂDAŞÍ. Whoever fasts on this holy day becomes famous all over the universe. Even such sins as killing a brahmana, a cow, or an emperor, blasphemy, or having sex with another man's wife are completely eradicated by observing APARA EKÂDAŞÍ. O King, people who bear false witness are most sinful. A person who falsely or sarcastically glorifies another, one who cheats while weighing something on a scale, one who fails to execute the duties of his varna or ashram, an unqualified man's posing as a brahmana, for example, or a person reciting the Vedas wrongly, one who invents his own scriptures, one who cheats others, one who is a charlatan astrologer, a cheating accountant, or a false Ayurvedic doctor. All these are surely as bad as persons who bear false witness, and they are all destined for hellish punishments. But simply by observing APARA EKÂDAŞÍ, all such sinners become completely free of their sinful reactions. Warriors who fall from their Kshatriya dharma and flee the battlefield go to a ferocious hell. But O Yudhisthira, even such a fallen Kshatriya, if he observes fasting on the APARA EKÂDAŞÍ, he is freed of that great sinful reaction and goes to heaven. That disciple is the greatest sinner who, after receiving a proper spiritual education from his spiritual master, turns around and blasphemes him. Such a so-called disciple suffers unlimitedly. That disciple is the greatest sinner who, after receiving a proper spiritual education from his spiritual master, turns around and blasphemes him. Such a so-called disciple suffers unlimitedly. Let's take note of this. But even he, rascal though he be, if he simply observes APARA EKÂDAŞÍ, can attain to the spiritual world. Listen, O King, as I describe to you further glories of this amazing Ekadashi. The merit attained by one who performs all of the following acts of piety is equal to the merit achieved by one who observes APARA EKADAŞÍ. Bathing 3 times daily in Pushkar Kshetra during Kartik, bathing at Prayag in the month of Magh, when the sun is in the zodiac of Capricorn, rendering service to Lord Shiva at Varanasi during Shiva Ratri, offering oblations to one's forefathers at Gaia, bathing in the sacred Gotami River when Jupiter transits Leo, having darshan of Lord Shiva at Kedarnath, seeing Lord Badrinath when the sun transits the sign of Aquarius, and bathing at the time of a solar eclipse at Kurukshetra and giving cows, elephants, and gold there in charity. All the merit one gets from performing these pious acts is gained by a person who observes the APARA EKÀDAŞީ fast, which, as we know, is chanting 25 rounds, reading more today from Srila Prabhupada's books, doing more service, and fasting from grains and beans, and trying to eat a little less and more chanting. Also, the merit attained by one who donates a pregnant cow along with gold and fertile land is attained by one who fasts on this day. In other words, APARA EKÀDAŞΗ is an axe that cuts down the fully matured forest full of trees of sinful deeds. It is a forest fire that burns sins as if they were kindling firewood. It is the sun blazing before one's dark misdeeds, and it is a lion stalking the meek deer of impiety. Therefore, O Yudhisthira, whoever truly fears his past and present sins must observe APARA EKÀDAŞΗ very strictly. One who does not observe this fast must be born again in the material world, like one bubble among millions in a huge body of water, or like a small ant among all other species. Therefore, one must faithfully observe the sacred APARA EKÀDAŞΗ and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Trivikaram. One who does so is freed of all his sins and promoted to the abode of Lord Vishnu. O Bharat, for the benefit of all humanity, I have thus described to you the importance of the holy APARA EKÀDAŞΗ. Anyone who hears or reads this description is certainly freed from all kinds of sins, O best of saintly kings, Yudhisthira. Thus ends the narration of the glories of Jayasta Krishna EKÀDAŞΗ, or APARA EKÀDAŞΗ, from the Brahmanda Purana. There's a few reference notes here I'd like to share with all of you. Pushkara Kshetra in western India is the only place on earth where a bona fide temple of Lord Brahma is to be found. The Vedas declare Nara Buddha Samaha. The human form of life, Nara Buddha Samaha. The human form of life is like a bubble in water. In water, many bubbles form and then suddenly burst a few seconds later. Thus, if a person does not utilize his rare human body to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, his life has no more value or permanence than a bubble in water. Therefore, as the Lord herein recommends, we should serve him by fasting on Hari Vatsasura or EKÀDAŞΗ and increasing our devotional service. In this regard, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada writes in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.1.4, the great ocean of material nature is tossing with the waves of time, and the so-called living condition are something like foaming bubbles, which appear before us as bodily self, wife, children, society, countrymen, etc. Due to a lack of knowledge of self, we become victimized by the force of ignorance and thus spoil the valuable energy of human life in a vain search after permanent living conditions which are impossible in this material world. All glories to APARA EKÀDAŞީ, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the great gurus and acharyas in ISKCON and all the devotees of the world. So today we get to read from Krishna book. We're going to read today the killing of the demons Vatsasura and Bakasura. It's very wonderful, this website. I'm sure all of you are quite familiar with the ISKCON Desire Tree. So nicely organized, and the search engine there is very wonderful. So when you look up the different impurities in the heart that are vanquished simply by hearing these pastimes of Krishna killing the different demons, we learn that different anartas in the heart are purified, which is very wonderful. We just have to hear Krishna book and we can have purification of so many of our anartas that cloud our vision, cloud our intelligence. So the killing of the demon Vatsasura purifies greediness for distinction. So that's interesting. Killing the Vatsasura demon purifies greediness for distinction. And the killing of Bakasura purifies the tendency to find fault in Vaishnavas. So that's very applicable for this day and time. So let us begin. Chapter 11. Killing the demons Vatsasura and Bakasura. When the twin Arjun trees fell to the ground, making a sound like the falling of thunderbolts, all the inhabitants of Gokul, including Nanda Maharaj, immediately came to the spot. They were very much astonished to see how the two great trees had suddenly fallen. Because they could find no reason for their falling down, they were puzzled. When they saw child Krishna bound up to the wooden mortar by the ropes of Mother Yashoda, they thought that this must have been caused by some demon. Otherwise, how is it possible? At the same time, they were very much perturbed because such uncommon incidents were always happening to child Krishna. While the cowherd men were thus contemplating, the small children who were playing there informed the men that the trees had fallen because Krishna had pulled the wooden mortar with the rope binding him. Krishna came in between the two trees, they exclaimed, and the wooden mortar was topsy-turvied and stuck in between the trees. Krishna then pulled the rope and the trees fell down. When the trees fell down, two very dazzling men came out of the trees, and they said something to Krishna. Most of the cowherd men did not believe the statement of the children. They could not believe that such things were at all possible. Some of the men, however, believed them and told Nanda Maharaj, "Your child, he's different from all the other children. He just might have done it." Nanda Maharaj smiled to hear about the extraordinary abilities of his son. He came forward and untied the knot just to free his wonderful son. After being freed by Nanda Maharaj, Krishna was taken onto the laps of the elder gopis. They took him away as the courtyard of the house and began to clap, praising his wonderful activities. Wonderful Krishna! Krishna danced along with their clapping, just like an ordinary child. The Supreme Lord Krishna, being completely controlled by the gopis, sang and danced, just like a puppet in their hands. Sometimes Mother Yashoda used to ask Krishna to bring her a wooden plank for sitting. Although the wooden plank was too heavy to be carried by a child, still, somehow or other, Krishna would bring it to his mother. Sometimes his father, while worshipping Narayan, would ask him to bring his wooden slippers, and Krishna, with great difficulty, would put the slippers on his head and bring them to his father. We have that beautiful BBT painting that depicts that pastime. When he was asked to lift some heavy article and was unable to lift it, Krishna would simply move his arms. In this way daily, at every moment, he was the reservoir of all pleasure to his parents. The Lord was exhibiting such childish feelings with the inhabitants of Vrindavan because he wanted to show the great philosophers and sages searching after the absolute truth that the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is controlled by and subject to the desires of his pure devotees. Just like Srila Prabhupada said, let there be a temple here in Vrindavan, and Krishna provided. One day a fruit vendor came before the house of Nanda Maharaj. Upon hearing the vendor call, "If anyone wants fruits, please come and take them from me. Fresh fruits, fresh fruits. Won't you buy my fresh fruits?" We did a little drama of this pastime decades ago. If anyone wants fruits, please come and take them from me. Child Krishna immediately, he took some grains in his palm and went to get fruits in exchange. In those days, exchange was by barter. Therefore, Krishna might have seen his parents acquire fruits and other things by bartering grains, and so he imitated. But his palms were very small, and he was not very careful to hold the grains tightly, so the grains were falling through his fingers. The vendor who came to sell the fruits saw this and was very much captivated by the beauty of the Lord. So she immediately accepted whatever few grains were left in his palm and filled his hands with fruits. In the meantime, the vendor saw that her whole basket of fruit had become filled with jewels. Jewels. The Lord is the bestower of all benedictions. If someone gives something to the Lord, he is not the loser, but he is the gainer by 1,000,000 times. One day, Lord Krishna, the liberator of the twin Arjun trees, was playing with Balaram and the other children on the bank of the Jamuna, and because it was already late, Rohini, the mother of Balaram, went to call them back home. "Krishna, Balaram!" But Balaram and Krishna were so engrossed in playing with their friends that they did not hear their mothers calling them, and also they did not wish to go back home just yet. They just engaged themselves in playing more and more. When Rohini was unable to take them back home, she went home and sent Mother Yashoda to call them again. Mother Yashoda was so affectionate toward her son that as soon as she came out to call him back home, her breast filled up with milk. She fondly cried, My dear child, please come back home. Your time for lunch is already past. She then said, My dear Krishna, oh my dear lotus-eyed child, please come and suck my breast. You have played enough. You must be very hungry, my dear little child. You must be tired from playing for so long. She also addressed Balaram. My dear Ram, the glory of your family, my dear child, please come back with your younger brother Krishna immediately. You have been engaged in playing since morning, and you must be very tired. Please come back and take your lunch at home. Your father Nandaraj is waiting for you. He has to eat, so you must come back so that he can eat as well. As soon as Krishna and Balaram heard that Nanda Maharaj was waiting for them and could not take his food in their absence, they started to return. Their playmates complained, Oh, Krishna, do you have to leave us now? Krishna is leaving us just at the point when our playing is at the summit. Next time we shall not allow him to leave. His playmates then threatened not to allow him to play with them again, and Krishna became afraid, and instead of going back home, he went back again to play with the boys. Such fortunate boys. At that time, Mother Yashoda scolded the children and told Krishna, My dear Krishna, do you think that you are a street boy? You have no home? Please come back to your home immediately. I see that your body has become very dirty from playing. Now come home and take your bath. Besides, today is your birthday ceremony. Therefore, you should come back home and give cows in charity to the brahmanas. Don't you see how your playmates are decorated with ornaments by their mothers? You should also be cleansed and decorated with nice dress and ornaments. Please, therefore, come back home now. Take your bath, dress yourself nicely, and then again you may go on playing. In the West, where the ladies are allowed to go on the altar and dress the deities, we would always say to the lordships, please help us to dress you. We know that you are dressing yourself, but please allow us to help you to dress nicely. And which ornaments would you like to wear today? Very beautiful process that Prabhupada has given us, deity worship, to make Krishna so personal. In this way, Mother Yashoda called back Lord Krishna and Balaram, who are worshipped by great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. She was thinking of them as her children. When Mother Yashoda's children, Krishna and Balaram, came home, she bathed them and dressed them with ornaments. She then called for the brahmanas, and through her children she gave many cows in charity for the occasion of Krishna's birthday. In this way she performed the birthday ceremony of Krishna at home. Just like we can do every day, we can have a wonderful ceremony for Krishna and Balaram right here in our homes. After this incident, all the elder cowherd men assembled together, and Nanda Maharaj presided. They began to consult amongst themselves how to stop great disturbances in the Mahavan forest on account of the demons. In this meeting, Upananda, the brother of Nanda Maharaj, was present. He was considered to be learned, and experienced, and he was a well-wisher of Krishna and Balaram. He was a leader, and he addressed the meeting as follows. My dear friends, now we should leave here for another place, because we are continually finding that great demons are coming here to disturb our peaceful situation, and they are especially attempting to kill the small children, especially Krishna. Just consider Putana and Krishna. It was simply by the grace of Lord Hari that Krishna was saved from the hands of such a great demon. Next, the whirlwind demon took Krishna away in the sky, but by the grace of Lord Hari, he was saved, and the demon fell down on a stone slab and died. Very recently, this child was playing between two trees, and the trees fell down violently, and yet there was no injury to the child. So Lord Hari saved Krishna again. Just imagine the calamity if this child or any other child playing with him were crashed by the falling trees. Considering all these incidents, we must conclude that this place is no longer safe. Let us leave. We have all been saved from different calamities by the grace of Lord Hari. Now we should be cautious and leave this place and reside somewhere where we can live peacefully. I think that we should all go to the forest known as Vrindavan, where just now there are newly grown plants and herbs. It is very suitable for pasturing grounds for our cows, and we and our family members, the gopis with their children, can very peacefully live there. Now, near Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, which is very beautiful, and there is newly grown grass and fodder for the animals, so there will be no difficulty in living in Vrindavan. I therefore suggest that we start immediately for that beautiful place, as there is no need to waste any more time. Let us prepare for all our carts. Let us prepare all our carts immediately. And if you like, let us go, keeping all the cows in front. And of course, we know that Vrindavan is still very, very beautiful place with chirping birds and the Jamuna, the cows, the peacocks. Meow, meow. And although there's some material covering going on, still Vrindavan is a very beautiful forest. On hearing the statement of Upananda, all the cowherd men immediately agreed. Yes, let us immediately go there. Let us all go to Vrindavan. Everyone then loaded all their household furniture and all the utensils on the carts and prepared to go to Vrindavan. All the old men of the village, the children and the women, were arranged on seats, and the cowherd men equipped themselves with with bows and arrows to follow the carts. All the cows and bulls were placed in the front, along with their calves, and the men with their bows and arrows surrounded the herds and carts and began to blow on their horns and their bugles. In this way, with tumultuous sounds, they started for Vrindavan. And who can describe the damsels of Braj? They were all seated on the carts and were very beautifully dressed with ornaments and costly saris. They chanted the pastimes of child Krishna as usual. Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini were seated on a separate cart, and Krishna and Balaram were seated on their laps. You'll see today in Vrindavan, all the Brijavasis, they circumambulate Vrindavan. It's like breathing for the Vrajavasis to go on EKÀDAŞީ Parikrama. And they sing these beautiful songs about Lord Krishna. All the ladies in their colorful saris are all singing these very beautiful songs of the pastimes of Krishna and Radharani and Balaram. While Mother Rohini and Yashoda were riding on the cart, they talked to their Krishna and Balaram, and feeling the pleasure of such talks, they looked very, very beautiful. In this way, after reaching Vrindavan, where everyone lives eternally, very peacefully and happily, they entered into Vrindavan and drew all the carts together in a half circle, and in this way constructed a temporary residence. When Krishna and Balaram saw the beautiful appearance of Vrindavan and Govardhan Hill and the banks of the river Jamuna, they felt very happy. As they grew up, they began talking with their parents and others in childish language, and thus they gave great pleasure to all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. And that's how we all feel here in Vrindavan. Krishna and Balaram are always here, and they're always giving us pleasure in one way or another. And even if they're giving difficulty, we see that as the mercy of the Lord, don't we? Soon Krishna and Balaram had grown sufficiently to be given charge of the calves. From the very beginning of their childhood, cowherd boys are trained to take care of the cows, and their first responsibility is to take care of the little calves. So along with the other little cowherd boys, Krishna and Balaram went into the pasturing and took charge of the calves, and there they played with their playmates. Playing, it's a big pastime for Krishna. While taking charge of the calves, sometimes the two brothers played on their flutes, and sometimes they played with amalaka fruits and bale fruits, just as small children play with balls. Sometimes they danced and made tinkling sounds with their ankle bells, and sometimes they made themselves into bulls and cows by covering themselves with blankets. Thus Krishna and Balaram played. The two brothers also used to imitate the sounds of bulls and cows and play at bullfighting. Sometimes they used to imitate the sounds of various animals and birds. Cuckoo! Cuckoo! In this way they enjoyed their childhood pastimes, appearing like ordinary children. Once, when Krishna and Balaram were playing on the bank of the Jamuna, a demon of the name Vatsasura assumed the shape of a calf and came there intending to kill the brothers. By taking the shape of a calf, the demon could mingle with the other calves. Krishna, however, specifically noticed this, and he immediately alerted Balaram about the entrance of the demon. You see how Krishna sees everything. He hears everything. Both brothers then silently approached him. Krishna caught hold of the demon calf by the two hind legs and tail and whipped him around and around very forcefully and threw him up into a tree. The demon lost his life and fell down from the top of the tree to the ground. This is how easy Krishna can take our anartas and whip them around and around. When the demon lay dead on the ground, all the playmates of Krishna congratulated him. Well done, Krishna, well done. And the demigods in the sky showered flowers with great satisfaction. In this way, the maintainers of the complete creation, Krishna and Balaram, used to take care of the calves every day, beginning in the morning, and thus they enjoyed their childhood pastimes as cowherd boys in Vrindavan. One day, all the cowherd boys went to the bank of the river Jamuna to water their calves. By the way, Jamuna is looking so beautiful these days during the lockdown, very wide and clean and beautiful. We just recently, in the beautiful cremation of His Grace Bhubaneswar Prabhu, We all went upstream to bathe after the cremation, and Jamuna's waters are so soft and so soothing. I encourage all of you, please come and have this wonderful experience in Vrindavan. When the calves drank the water from the Jamuna, the boys also drank. After drinking, when they were sitting on the bank of the river, they saw a huge animal which looked something like a heron and was as big as a hill. Its top was as strong as a thunderbolt. When they saw that unusual animal, they became afraid of it. The name of this beast was Vatsasura, and he was a friend of Kamsa's. He appeared on the scene suddenly and immediately attacked Krishna with his pointed, sharp beak and quickly swallowed him up. When Krishna was thus swallowed, all the boys headed by Balaram became almost breathless, as if they had died. But when the Vatsasura demon was swallowing up Krishna, he felt a burning, fiery sensation in his This was due to the glowing effulgence of Krishna. The demon quickly threw Krishna up and tried to kill him by pinching him in his back. Vatsasura did not know that although Krishna was playing the part of a child of Nanda Maharaj, he was still the original father of Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe. Mother Yashoda's child, who is the reservoir of pleasure for the demigods and who is the maintainer of saintly persons, caught hold of the great gigantic heron by the two halves of his beak, and before his cowherd boyfriend bifurcated his mouth, just as a child very easily splits a blade of grass. From the sky, the denizens of the heavenly planet showered flowers, and the most fragrant of all flowers, as a token of their congratulations. Accompanying the showers of flowers was a vibrance of bugles, drums, and conch shells. Doot, doot, doot. Does that sound like a conch shell? When the boys saw the showering of flowers and heard the celestial sounds, they were struck with wonder. And when they saw Krishna freed from the mouth of the great demon Vatsasura, all of them, including Balaram, were so pleased that it seemed as if they had regained their very source of life. As soon as they saw Krishna coming toward them, they one after another embraced the son of Nanda and held him to their chests. After this, they assembled all the calves under their charge and began to return home. When they arrived home, they spoke of the wonderful activities of the son of Nanda. When the gopis and cowherd men all heard the story from the boys, they felt great happiness because naturally they loved Krishna, and by hearing about his glories and victorious activities, they became still more affectionate toward him. Thinking that child Krishna had been saved from the mouth of death, they looked upon his face with great love and affection. Indeed, they could not turn their faces from the vision of Krishna. The gopis and the men began to converse amongst themselves about how wonderful it was that child Krishna had been attacked in so many ways and so many times by so many demons. And yet the demons themselves had been killed, and Krishna had had remained uninjured. They continued to converse amongst themselves about how so many great demons in such fierce bodies had attacked Krishna to kill him, but by the grace of Hari had not been able to cause even a slight injury. Rather, they had died like small flies in a fire. Thus they remembered the words of Gargamuni, who had foretold, by dint of his vast knowledge of the Vedas and astrology, that this boy would be attacked by many demons. Now they were actually seeing that this was coming true, word for word. Just 2 more paragraphs here. All the cowherd men, including Nanda Maharaj, used to talk of the wonderful activities of Lord Krishna and Balaram, and they were always so much absorbed in those talks that they forgot about the threefold miseries of this material existence. This is the effect of Krishna consciousness. So beautifully written by Srila Prabhupada. The effect of Krishna consciousness. What was enjoyed 5,000 years ago by Nanda Maharaj can still today be enjoyed by all of us who are in Krishna consciousness simply by talking and hearing about the transcendental pastimes of Krishna and his associates. In this way, Balaram and Krishna enjoyed their childhood pastimes, imitating Lord Ramachandra's monkeys, who constructed the bridge over the ocean, and Hanuman, who jumped over the water to Ceylon. They used to imitate such pastimes among their friends and so happily passed their childhood life in Vrindavan. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 11th chapter of Krishna killing the demon Vatsasura and Bakasura. So let us spend our wonderful APARA EKÀDAŞީ today absorbed in chanting our 25 rounds or more, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna book, Nectar Devotion, transcendental books, so many. Prabhupada's given us so many books. Right now I'm reading the prayers of Queen Kunti. And if you want to go on Vrindavan Parikrama, like all the residents of Vrindavan, there are many that are been posted on YouTube. So you can go along with the rest of us. In fact, my associates are just now waiting. We're going to go on Vrindavan Parikrama just now to chant the holy names and pastimes of Krishna. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada, for giving us Krishna consciousness, for giving us the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and for giving us the association of devotees. May we always be like the bee, looking for the good in others. Let's all try to remember how little we are and how great Prabhupada and Krishna are. And let us offer our heads in the Braj Raj to each other. Vanchakalpatubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyevacha, Patitanam, Pavanebhyo, Vaishnave, Vaishnave, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So what do I do here now? Click finish.